Okay, guys, welcome to another Monday night of Grubb Cast. Uh, if you guys, if everything sounds good and clear and stuff here, give me either a comment. Actually, I'd rather you throw a comment. That way I can see the comments too, because I had to put everything back together on when I got back in, when I brought the laptop back down here to the room, to the man cave. Uh, I had to put everything back together. So somebody throw me a comment so I know that there we go. Dean Barnhart says, sounds good. Thanks, Dean. Okay, guys, we're going to get started tonight with uh, the sponsors. Fish Sticks Custom Rods. Got the nice polo shirt here. Got my collar messed up on. But yeah, Fish Sticks Custom Rods, Hook and Donkeys, plastics. He make Mike makes some amazing plastics. Uh, Ace Hardware on Richland Avenue. Go down and get stuff at Ace Hardware. Sandboard Builders. You want a deck built or room or anything like that, get a hold of Sanborn. Hobbs Roofing out of Akron, Ohio. Pizza Stop and Southern. Get you a sub or a pizza or something like that. And Southern Ohio Sanitation. Porta Johns for parties or septic tanks pumped. Whatever you want to, whatever you need done in that kind of business, he can take care of you. Again, I'll real quick. This is May, and this is May, and remember, in May, one Monday in May, I'm going to just say, okay, send me a text message of uh, a picture of a receipt from the pizza stop, and this is the crankbait that you'll win. It's 6 cents Crush 100, and it is the boiled crawfish. So whatever Monday I decide I'm going to do it, that'll be the crankbait that you win. So uh, one Monday in May, I will just say, okay, this is the week for the receipt to be texted to me, and you guys will send me a text of a copy of the receipt. It doesn't have to be that day. It doesn't have to be in May. Just a receipt. Show me a receipt that you've got uh, a receipt from Pizza Stop, and you'll win the crankbait. The first one. Uh, let's see. Here you go, Travis Six. Got to use my fish sticks rod and my hook and donkey stuff this weekend. He said he really caught them on the river. Uh, and then tonight for the trivia question, it's going to be a 4-inch crawl dog, the deal. So green pumpkin with a little white like on the bottom. So it's the 4-inch crawl dog deal. So whoever wins the trivia question night, and it's going to be I don't know that it can be Googled. So anybody that's got some time on the water might be the one that wins this one. It's going to be an interesting trivia question tonight. We'll see if we get it. A guy reached out to me and he said he got a good trivia question and we're going to try it. So I didn't bring a rod in tonight for the show, but I'll do one next week. I got them all in my boat. And stick around, guys. I got some exciting news too. I posted on Facebook today that I was going to be doing some exciting news, and so yeah. So I'll be doing that after we go. We'll go over the tournaments right now from last week. Monday night, the last call tournament at Lake Snowden. First place was Wesley Sanders and Big Bass with 6.69, and that was the fish he had. I think he had one fish, and it was 6.69. Second place went to the ones that's going to need a 1099 at Lake Snowden this year. They have been on fire out there. Donnie and Dylan Phillips with 6.80. And third place went to John and Jill Rose with 5.23. And they said they had 11 overs. 11 15-inch or over fish was weighed in Monday night. That's good for Snowden. Tuesday night up to Burr Oak. First place went to Howard and Tim with 7.29. Second place went to Brent and Kobe with 6.19. They've been in the money up there quite a bit. And they also had big bass, and I do believe it was 6.19. That was their one fish they had. And then Joe and Gary, third place with 4.58. And that was at Burr Oak last Tuesday night. Tonight, last call was down at Dow Lake. So I'll have that information next week. Wednesday night at Lake Snowden, we had first place was Sean and Ryan Hammond. They've been on fire out there too. 8.84. And they had a big bass at 5.20. Second place went to Josh and Jared, 8.37. And third place went to Travis and Kyle 6 with 6.97. So, once again, two tournaments on Snowden and, within 2 nights apart, and it's pretty good sacks weighed in. So, boiled crawfish, Rusty, taste amazing. I like boiled crawfish. Sunday at Seneca for last call. You had first place with Terry and Brian. Terry Lunsford and Brian. I don't know who. They didn't tell me the last name of Brian. Was 10.60. Second place was Corey and Kevin with 10.08. And third place was Joe and Ronnie with 9.02. And Jesse French had the big bass of the tournament. Bet you it was caught on a blue rock bait. 5.14 for the big bass. So, guys, you can tell that the weather's got warm and the fish are eating. With the weights that's coming in these tournaments, it's obvious that the fish are moving up and they're eating. So, got a tournament coming up at the end of May, guys. I think I talked a little bit about it earlier. Let me pull up here a text. Let's see here. Okay. It's going to be May the 25th. That's Memorial Day weekend, Saturday Memorial Day. We're going out of the Syracuse ramp down in Syracuse. It's Lestock Campground puts it on. And we allow 25 boats. And he puts in $1,000 on top of what the 25 boats at, I think it's $50 a boat entry fee, and then we put he puts another 1,000 in it. Rusty said that he had 73 degrees on Burr Oak today, so yeah, the water's up there. But right now, here's the boats we have signed up. Now their partners will be with these people, or they might be fishing by themselves. But we have 11 boats so far. So it's Mike Swearinger, Brian Rose, Kevin Wells, Travis Six, Tony Grubbs, Josh Long, Keith Six, John McKenzie, Wes Shellman, and Kyle Six. Oh, and also, I'm pretty sure, Travis, you were on here, and Misty, Charlie Grubbs. I'm sure he'll be fishing it too. So that's 12 boats. So guys, like I said, we're cutting off at 25. So if anybody wants in it, yeah, get with me or Misty Six. You can message Misty on Messenger, and she'll get you wrote down for the tournament. And after 25 boats, that's it. Uh, we might start a waiting list for next year, and that way it's because once you fish it, you're in. So, and Matt Six, Travis said Matt Six. So that's 13 boats right there. So we got 12 boats open for it. We got to also check too. I think Jeff Dyer's fishing that one too, and on Tony Walls. So we're 15 boats. Hey Carol, yeah, we're at 15 boats, so we got 10 boats left to get in that tournament. So if you guys want in it, you better get a hold of Misty pretty quick or me, and get the money to us. Yeah, so got to have the money for the entry fee. So, um, well, guys, as you guys know, I was down south this last week at Chickamauga. Had a amazing time. Had a really good trip. I traveled down with Andy Jeffers. Uh, we had a phenomenal time. Andy was great to travel with, great to pre-fish with, practice. Uh, you know, got to ride around in a nitro. I don't know if that's good or bad, but no, it was all right. Andy's boat's a nice riding boat, so fished great out of it. Uh, we struggled to find a fish. We did find one spot and had fish, and Andy did what he needed to do. He went and dissected it because we found it like 2 days before the tournament, and he went down the first day of the tournament and dissected it, and he caught. I think he had 14 pounds on day one uh, of the tournament. What I do here? I don't think I affected you guys, but I affected me. There we go. And then went back second day, and he was able to get 10 pounds the second day. And if you'd have asked us on Wednesday or Tuesday of the tournament, I didn't think I would have any, and I didn't think Andy'd have any because we were struggling, but we found them fish there, uh, right there towards second to the last day of the tournament, and we it worked out for Andy. Now it didn't do me no good because I had boaters from other places. You know, they had their own plans, and guys, I drawed two phenomenal boaters. My boater on day one, we went. It was it was funny. We pulled into a spot, and I mean, literally, I could have almost jumped out of my boater's boat into his brother's boat. That's how close together we was, and we was fishing for. They was shad spawn, and fish would just start blowing up everywhere, and they throw to him, and uh, his brother lost one, and I think he ended up catching one. Then he caught one. It was a little over 4. And then he told me, he's like, "You throw wherever. When you see them blow up, you throw." And I put a spinner bait on and threw the spinner bait, and I ended up catching one. It was right at 3, and then they just shut off. And then we started making. He had some brush piles in the river we was running, and we ended up. I ended up catching another one, and he ended up catching 2. I think he had 2 there, and then he caught a third one. I think he ended up with 4 fish, 3 or 4 fish. Uh, but right at the end of the day, on day one, we stopped at a dock on a bluff wall. He pitched in, and he set the hook, and he thought it was a catfish. And the next thing you know, it come up. And when it come up, I went, "Whoa!" That fish was big, big. Yeah, Andy, I had a great time too. It was lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing it again. But that fish was big that he lost, and that would have really put him up in the standings. Day two, I drawed a guy from Knoxville, Tennessee, and he told me, he said, "Man," he said, "I had four." He had 411 on the first day. He was catching spots, and they was he was. He said, "I'm out." He said, I'm gonna do everything to help you." And I said, and he had fish hooked the first day, and lost them. I mean, he had enough fish to really do good, and he just lost them. It was one of them days. He said, I had one hook, and non-boater was snagged. I had one hook, was going to it. My trolling motor got wrapped up in a rope, couldn't get to the rope to get it off, and my fish was hung on a treetop. Just he said, just nothing went right. Well, we pull in. The first thing he does, he catches a keeper. I'm like, I told you, this is where it's going to go. Everything went wrong yesterday, and everything's going right for you, and nothing will go right for me today. And that's pretty much how it was. I ended up with, I think I had three fish on day two, four fish, had four fish, but wasn't I needed 8 pounds to get in check for day two. Uh, he ended up catching, I think he had 14 pounds in his five fish on day two. Uh, but he was a super great guy. I learned a lot of things from. His name was Jeff, or no, Mike Croft. Mike Croft was his name, and he was a super guy. Had a lot of fun with him. Uh, I'll tell that story in a minute, Andy. Uh, we we had a lot of fun. I told him at the end of the day, because he said, I'm gonna get you, because I tell all my boaters, the biggest thing is I want to take away something I learned from these trips. And I told him at the end of the day, I said, my brain's overloaded, bud. I learned so much from you, because he has a secret sauce that I'm going to start using, uh, and it's going to stay a secret sauce. I would have never guessed or dreamed it, and I was amazed when he finally showed me what it was, and he was catching fish, and then he put it on my bait, and I started catching fish, and I was like, I'm a firm believer of it now. Now maybe it won't work here, but uh, they it definitely worked down there. Matt, the size of chick compared to high, there ain't no comparison, bud. Salty Daisy that I was fishing in day two probably would be able to put Fox Lake, Lake Snowden, Burr Oak, and Fork and Run, and probably Rupert just in that one cove. So that's how big Chickamauga is, and that's just one creek. Uh, there's two boat ramps just in that one creek. But yeah, the trip down there was good. Jeff Dyer, I stayed with him and his boy Chris. Jeff ended up 29th place overall in the tournament. He was, I think, maybe 2 pounds out of first place, or out of the 25th place to make day three. And Chris had 5 pounds. Let's see, I had 409 on day one, and Chris had 5.5 because we was aggravating each other at the house. Uh, the first night of the tournament about it, and he went out the next day. It was funny. He's on here. We sitting in the garage getting ready, and he said he was going to be doing some Carolina rigging. I said, well, here, I got some brush hogs I picked up. It's a collar they've been eating my shaky head, and maybe they'll eat this. I don't want none of your brush hogs. I was like, okay. And then later, he said, yeah, I do. I'll take some of them. I'm like, no, you ain't getting none now. And I ended up finally giving him two, and he caught a 6 pounder on the second day. Uh, he actually caught two fish for 11 pounds. He had a 6 pounder and a 5 pounder. He missed the 25 cut by 14 ounces. He was probably in probably 102nd, 103rd on day one and caught two fish on day two of the right size and ended up almost making the cut and cashing a check. So, it, and that's what you know, if if you can just land on right as a co-angler, you can do it. He actually messaged me 2 nights ago, and he's like, "Hey, let's take off June. I think it's June 4th, 5th, and 6th is a chicken or Toyota series on the Potomac River." He said, "We'll just drive down, me and you in my car, fish it, and drive back." I looked at it and I thought very serious about it, but I've got a BFL at Mosquito Lake that weekend. I'd have to drive there, come home, grab a boat, and drive straight to Mosquito. And I just ain't. I'm not going to do that. Uh, but I ain't saying that me and him ain't going to figure out maybe one that we might be able to hook him run to. The Toyota Series, guys, is a lot of fun. Uh, Gerald Swindle, Carl Jockelson, Justin Atkins, all them guys were sitting right beside me on the water talking. I walked off the boat dock to get weigh bags, and there's that Lulu, waiting on Gerald with weigh bags for her or for him. And, you know, you're them guys, you're fishing against some of the top of the top. Uh, and with that being said, um, if everything goes right, and I'm going to try my best, because as most of you know, my dad's 83 years old, and he's asked me this whole year to go as a boater. And I'm like, Dad, I just right now my mindset and financially and stuff, I'm not ready to do a boater uh this year in this Toyota series. But and I told him, I called him on the way home, and I was like, you know what, he's 83, he's wanting me to fish one, he wants me to do it. Uh Next year I'm gonna go as a boater as the Toyota series. I'm gonna try it. Uh Hopefully his health's good enough that he can travel with me. And we're going to give it a shot. We're going to try 1 year of the Toyota series. And guys, I tell you right now, and I probably shouldn't be this way, but it's the truth. I know I'm positive. I'm almost 100% positive that I'm not going to win one. But with the setup that was going on down at Chickamauga, if I'd have been a boater, I think I could have cashed a check. The fish was doing what I love to do, and Jeff Dyer was doing what I love to do, and he knew it. So uh, I'm gonna try it next year. I hope they stay the same lakes, because I've now fished. I fished Gunnersville 2 years. I fished Smith 2 years, and I fished Chick 3 years. So I've got somewhat of an idea of the layout of the lakes and stuff like that. So, like I said, and I need to change my thinking. I know, uh, I d- I'm I don't think I can win one, but I think I can make. I think I can get in the check range. So they usually pay between 50 and 60 places. Depending on if there's 260 boats, they pay 60 places. This tournament was 193 boats, they paid 50 places. So I'm gonna. Uh, so yeah, I'm gonna try everything I can to get money saved up and stuff, because this is not going to be a cheap trip. Cheap at all. I mean, it's $1,750 each tournament entry fee. That ain't counting for staying and gas in the boat practice, because it's a week trip. It's going to be 3 weeks. So I got to clear it with the bosses too to make sure that that that's fine. But I just want to try it 1 year. Of course, I said that about Toyota Series too, or the co-anglers, but I want to try it 1 year as a boater. I may I may get my brains kicked in, but I want to try it. Like I said, I don't have full confidence that I can win them or win one, but I think I can compete in. Uh, and my dad's been telling me for 2 years now. He's like, you can compete in these. If you have your boat, you can compete in them. So we're gonna see if he's right or not. Uh, yeah, and back to why we was down at the trip. I'll tell a little story on this. You get a kick out of this. I took my truck to Andy Jeffords's house, and it's the same kind of truck that he's got, same collar Toyota and everything. His is a 10, and I think his is a 10 or 12, and mine's an 8. And he's got a little 5-year-old boy, and his wife was seeing him come walking across the driveway with something in his hands, and she said, "Garrett, what do you got?" He said, "I got some Pringles." She said, "Pringles, where'd you get them out of at?" He said, "Out of that truck there. He's got all kind of snacks in it." He got up in my truck and got the Pringles that I had in my truck, was eating. So, and then she put them back. I was like, "Well, he could have just ate them all. I wasn't going to eat them. They's in my truck." So, but that was pretty funny. He was laughing on the phone when she was telling him. She said, "Don't tell Tony. Don't tell Tony." And I'm like, "I think it's funnier than I'll get out." But yeah, like I said, we had a great trip down there. It was a lot of fun. So might as well go ahead and get into the trivia question because I got a pretty good idea that Misty texted me too. She said, "Be sure to message me the names of the people you said." Oh, that I said on the podcast. Okay, and if anybody else decides they get with me or Misty, and we'll get your money and get you signed up. So okay, let's do this trivia question. Uh, Also, too, sometimes Scotty's on here. I think he might be fishing tonight. He's getting ready to. Scotty Kearns at it's a H&K Sounds is getting ready to put a stereo, GPS and backup camera and stereo stuff in my truck this week. So I'm looking forward to that. Scotty's got a nice little sound business down in Jackson. So anybody wants to get a hold of him and get something done with your stereo, backup cameras, stuff like that in a car, get a hold of Scotty. Okay, here's the trivia question, guys. And this guy's really giving us a hard one. Uh, I ain't seen Dean on here or nobody yet. So it'd probably be an older Federation guy that have to answer this one. Let's see. Who was, let's see, who was the Central Ohio angler who was the Central Ohio angler that fished 2 Bassmasters Classic in the 70s in the 2 years in a row? He fished the Bassmaster Classic from Central Ohio 2 years in a row in the 70s. What was his name? Dean, do you know the answer? Who was the Central Ohio angler that fished the Bassmaster Classic in the 70s 2 years in a row? He was a bass at that time. We was bass, and he fished it. Nope. This guy was from Ohio, Andy. He was from Central Ohio. No, Dean, not Greg Hawk. That's a good question. Good answer, though. No, Matt, not David. He was later in the year, and he only fished. I think he only went once. This guy fished it 2 times in a row in the 70s from Central Ohio. Yes, Dean, I will. What? Well, no, not Joe Thomas, Dean. Uh, while people are guessing, I'll keep watching. But Dean Barnhart here, the youth, I think it's eighth grade and under youth Bass Federation Championship. Ed Hank Parker don't live in Ohio. The Ohio Bass Federation Junior Championship this weekend at Alum Creek. Uh, if you got any youth, young kids, I think it's eighth grade and the younger that want to fish it, reach out to me or Dean uh, or Steve Calder, and we'll get you set up and get you to do it. So, Ronnie, are you off the water? Evidently, you must be. Charlie Hartley? Nope, not Charlie Hartley. No, Matt, not Joe Thomas. We had that guest before. He is the he's from Central Ohio. Hey, Mike. He's from Central Ohio, and he fished uh, two Bassmasters Classic in the 70s, 2 years in a row. No, Dean, it wasn't you fishing the Classic. No, Travis, not Shorty Evans. They said it. The guy give it to me. He said this is going to be a hard one. Okay, Steve Calder said a tip. Here's a tip that Steve Calder's giving you guys. He lived in Newark. He lived in Newark. He fished the Bassmaster Classic 2 years in a row in the 70s. Buckeye Lake guy. Who's Buckeye Lake guy? Steve, I may not be able to Google it. Ray Scott. No, Rick Lambert, not Ray Scott. I didn't even know you knew how to get on Facebook. He lived in Newark, Ohio. He fished the Bassmaster Classic 2 years in a row in the 70s. Yeah, I do, Rick. I learn something every day. Dean Barnhart said Steve Calder. He lives in Heath, not Newark. Ronnie, did you guys get any fish tonight? Did you fish Dow Lake? There you go, Andy. Andy Jeffers wins it. Andy, wait a minute. That was Ed. Andy Skirman, Andy Skirman. He won the Bassmaster Classic 2 year or fished the Bassmaster Classic 2 years in a row. He was from Newark, Ohio. So Andy, I'll get you the baits. Uh, how did you find that, Andy? Let me know how you found that. Hey, John Evener, how you doing? Uh, guys, don't forget this Wednesday night, uh, Lake Snowden, 5:30 to dark. Brian Rose. I just know things, haha. Okay, Andy. You probably text Steve. Um, let's see here. Where did he? Oh, yeah, next Monday night, last call Bassmasters is going to be going out of the Hawking River at Coolville ramp. Next Monday night, they're fishing the Hawking River at Coolville. So they're switching it up a little bit on Monday night and they're going down to the Hawking River. I told Brian today, I was like, this Monday night podcast is messing up my fishing the Monday night tournaments. Uh, he said live on the water. I might fish one of these times and do a live on the water. It'd be pretty neat. The only thing is as you guys can see, when I'm down out of town without my camera and all the stuff that I got here set up and being able to use my phone, I'm lost. I'm probably gonna. Well, I don't think I'm gonna be out of town anymore on Mondays. Uh, if it is, it's gonna be in the fall when I'm down to Kerr Lake for the regionals. If I make the regionals, uh, the BFLs too. They're coming up May 18th down at Tanner's Creek. That'll be our first one. Uh, my goal down there is catch one keeper. If I can go down there and catch one keeper, uh, I think Mosquito and Lake Erie and Indian Lake, I can do good enough on them ones to get me through the points to make the regional. I can't blank on the river. The river's been tough on me a couple years, uh, and I'm gonna try a couple things. I had Fish Sticks build me a rod to try it this year, so I'm gonna try it. Uh, I bought a reel while I was down in. We went over to Chattanooga, Tennessee, to the Bass Pro Shop, and I ended up buying a small profile reel to put on this rod to try it with the spinner bait. So I'm looking forward to that. So, uh, but yeah, it's everything's coming around to you know the fish are coming up. They're up. They ain't coming up. They're up. I'm looking forward to Wednesday night this week on Snowden. Everything just hasn't clicked yet for me yet, but Josh went out there last Wednesday night and he figured out something for us to try this week. So we're going to go try to give it a whirl and see if we can take that money back from Sean and Ryan and Donnie and Dylan. Seems like they're always in it here lately. So, uh, well, guys, we're almost 40 minutes. I said I was going to keep it at 30. Uh, so, but like I said, don't forget too, if you have any kids that is interested in fishing the youth championship this weekend at Alum Creek, it's Saturday. Get a hold of Dean Barnhart, me, or Steve Calder, and we'll get you in the right direction to where you and Jeremy Reese. Jeremy Reese is the youth director, so uh, you can we'll get you in the right direction to get them signed up so they can come and fish. So, uh, but it's I had a wonderful time down south, but it's nice to be home, especially when I'm doing this. I feel a lot more comfortable sitting here. than trying to do it with the camera or the phone and all that. So this is more like home here with me for doing the show and stuff. So I got a couple new things, couple things going to be going on too. So keep your eyes out. But you know, and any of the sponsors on the bottom here, guys, let them know that you seen them on here, and you know. I appreciate everybody going out and sharing this and viewing it and stuff. I'm getting a lot of views. So uh, actually, I've got a guy I need to reach out to. I got to do a little practicing before I do any group people. Adding people on and doing something with somebody else, because this this program takes two people. It takes something a little different than just asking them to join Facebook and do it. You gotta have an app and everything for it. So, but I appreciate everybody that's been on tonight, and we will see you next Monday night. Uh, Guys, go out there and go out there and lean on them. So, I'll see you next Monday night.